Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining us here in LiveFit Kitchen. We have Dr. Purcell with us.
Hi Alicia, hi everyone.
So we have a really exciting salad for you tonight. It's a creamy kale salad and you won't believe this dressing when you taste it. Tell us about this salad.
All right, let's run you through the ingredients. So in our creamy kale salad, we have 1 avocado, and it's a half of an avocado, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of spicy brown mustard, that's sugar-free, very low calorie, 3 tablespoons of walnut oil, a half of a bunch of kale chopped, 1 beet grated, an apple chopped into 1-inch size pieces, and 1/3 cup of toasted walnuts, and we got a little salt and pepper to taste.
So, it recommends making the dressing in a food processor, and I happen to love my little magic bullet because it's really small and it's easy to clean, and I think it works really well as a food processor. So, we're putting our half avocado in here first.
And this is the creamy part of it,
Yes.
because the avocado is going to make the dressing very creamy once we put it on the kale.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so what many of you may have noticed is that we have quite a few kale recipes now. And it's not to torture Alicia.
Hey, I love kale now. I have learned to embrace kale and Brussels sprouts.
I want you to do the same thing, which is why we have multiple kale recipes, because I want to introduce kale to you in many different forms, cooked and raw and creamy dressings and different ways. And the reason is because it's a super vegetable. It's in the cruciferous vegetable family, which means it's the same family as broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. It also has the same medicinal properties as those vegetables and even more. So number 1, 5 different cancers it helps protect against. Number 2, it's anti-inflammatory. Number 3, it's antioxidant. Number 4, it's filled with vitamins and minerals for you. So I really want you to be able to comfortably buy kale in the supermarket and not be scared of it. And so this is another recipe to help you do that. So Alicia's making the dressing. She put the half of an avocado in. She put in the 3 tablespoons of walnut oil, and she's working on the spicy brown mustard as we speak. She'll put a little bit of salt and pepper in there to taste, and then she's going to whip it up in her magic bullet.
I do love the magic bullet.
It is magic.
So it's a funny thing about the walnut oil, because we purchased it for another recipe that we did a little while back, and I thought, really, when am I ever going to use walnut oil? And then this recipe popped up. Amazing. Okay, so I have 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar going in, and it was 3 tablespoons of the walnut oil.
And this is going to be delicious.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. I can tell already. Okay, the apple cider vinegar, the mustard, the walnut oil, the avocado, a little salt and pepper, and that was it for the dressing.
Lovely. I do want to talk a little bit about beets, because what we have here is a bowl of fresh grated beet, and part of the recipe is 1 beet grated. And so beets, if you've never eaten them raw, are sweet, they're delicious, they add a lot of color to the salads. What you didn't see Alicia doing was grating the beet ahead of time. And you have to be careful with beets because they will stain everything. They will stain your hands, they will stain your clothes, they will stain your countertops. And it's the red pigment in there though, and that it's very medicinal. So beets contain choline, and also they help those of you who are constipated have a wonderful bowel movement. Just be careful, because the next morning after you eat beets, your bowel movement will be red. And many patients will come to me and they'll be scared and say, oh my gosh, I think, I just had a red bowel movement. And I say, no, don't worry about it, it's the beets.
So to grate these beets, initially I pulled out the cheese grater, and then I remembered that I will make an enormous mess if I try to do that. So I ended up using my little mini food processor with the grater wheel in it, and that was much smarter. So we're going to make this dressing now. You can see everything's in there, and here we go. So with the magic bullet, we get it going, and then we give it a little shake, and then we let it go one more time.
Nice and creamy.
Super creamy and ready to go. I love it. Okay, so to make the salad, oh, look at that. So thick and delicious. Now, if it's too thick, if you want it just a little smoother, you could put just a little bit of water in there and that'll thin it down nicely, but go easy with the water. Don't be just pouring a 1/4 cup in. Put a tablespoon in.
Right, about a tablespoon.
Yeah, and just see if that doesn't water it down enough for you. Now, we have here half a bunch of kale, and I've chopped it up, just roughly chopped into fairly small pieces. So in that goes, and that is, stuck in there. It's about 2 cups worth, in case you're wondering about the measurement there. So 2 cups of chopped up kale.
Nice.
We have our beet.
Have the beets.
The beet was a little smaller, maybe about 2/3 the size of my fist, and I have fairly small hands. Once it grated up, it actually made quite a lot.
Yeah, it's about a cup of grated beets there.
Yeah, yeah, a small beet went a really long way. So in that goes. Now the green apple was also fairly small, but again came out to probably just over a cup.
Yeah.
And I did prepare it earlier, so it's probably looking a little brown on camera right now. It's just a regular green apple, and it's just been in the fridge for a couple of hours.
And in the bowl it goes.
And then the walnuts are last, and I did toast these in the pan, and if you remember from a previous show, I will tell you again, don't walk away from the pan. Once you put the walnuts in, you need to stand there and stir them and move them around, because if you walk away even for a minute, you'll burn them, and then you have to start again. I did that the first time.
And they're so good toasted.
They are. The flavor really comes out. So you put your 4 ingredients in, and then really mix it through. The colors are, of course, beautiful with
What
the beet.
an amazing looking salad.
Doesn't that just look super?
The beet will stain the apple. It will stain whatever it comes into contact with. So if you are going to serve it the next day, the salad's going to look a little red.
It will be.
So as she's stirring that, I do want to talk to you about avocado, because avocados have some amazing healthy fats in them. And sometimes avocados get a bad reputation for being so filled with fat. One of the things that avocados contain are carotenoids, and carotenoids are special antioxidants that require fat to absorb them. So they're fat-soluble antioxidants, which, as Mother Nature would have it, provides that for you within the avocado. So the avocado has the good fats that allow us to absorb the fat-soluble antioxidants. So it's really just a magnificent pairing there.
It is. Now, of course, with this dressing, this is not a low-calorie dressing. It's a very healthy dressing. The fats in it are super good for you, but you're going to have to exercise portion control on this one. So you can see Dr. Purcell was correct. The beets did, of course, stain everything, but it still looks just beautiful. If you were going to serve this, you know, at more of a formal sort of lunch or dinner, then you might actually build the salad in the bowl and, you know, arrange everything so that the colors don't stain through with the beets. But if it's just for yourself and you're not worried about the color, it really does look very pretty. But if I was serving it in a more formal setting, I'd probably sprinkle the walnuts on top or something like that. So, nice thick dressing.
I would also probably, if I was going to serve it formally, maybe toss the dressing in with the salad, because the kale is a coarser green, and of course the kale is raw in the salad. So we do want the dressing to coat the kale and allow the kale to take a little bit of that coarse edge off.
Okay, so why don't we do both ways? I'm going to put just that little scoop on top. My idea with putting the little scoop on top, it does look pretty, but also it allows you to just dip your fork into the dressing.
A little
And
dollop.
Isn't that pretty?
Very
okay, so
nice.
the rest of it we'll put in and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, and we'll toss that.
We will indeed. Oh, yum. What's not to love about avocado? Oh, that's pretty too.
This whole salad is just so nutritious and amazing. I mean, between the beets, the kale, the apples, the walnuts, the good fats in the avocado, I mean, it's such a nice combination of fats, a little bit of protein, and some really nice complex carbohydrates.
It's pretty, it smells good, and it's going to be amazingly delicious.
And it will be a little sweet because of the apples.
It will be. Look at that. So those are your 2 serving options. Both look really good. I think I actually prefer the one where it's tossed. Let's taste that one.
All right.
Are you happy with your fork?
I'm not sure.
Yum.
All right, I'll try it.
I promise you are going to like this one. That rocks.
Very creamy.
That is really amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm like so excited right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.